Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Okay. Hi,
Look at your...
Meredith.
Hi, Kimberly. Wow, that's a really nice shirt you have on.
Does it look really cute on me?
It really does.
Thank you.
Would you like to know something funny?
Yes.
The sweatshirt that I put on, I got from the same person who made our shirts.
I want to say thank you to your friend. What was her name?
Laura.
Laura. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you,
I love
Laura.
it.
I love mine too. I'm just not wearing it right at this moment because I didn't know that was the plan. Somebody didn't let me in on the secret.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
And it's not like I could change. Like, my dresser's not right here or anything.
Welcome back to another episode of Mildly Thriving.
Mildly Thriving. Sorry, did I ruin that? A mediocre podcast for mediocre millennials, just like us. And that's okay. I'm proud. I'm proud to be mediocre.
And I guess I know I'm free. Oh, anyway.
I'm glad you knew the song I was referencing.
I did. I went to school. I went to school in America.
Yeah.
In the United States. I hate it when people say America.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sorry that you hate that. I'm going to say America all the time now.
Okay, great. Thanks. I love it when people say that.
I'm going to say America all the time now.
Damn it. Okay, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. It wasn't my episode.
That's true. Today we're going to talk about expectations. We're going to talk about the book, Great Expectations. Did you do your book report?
I'm having flashbacks to high school. No, Mrs. Kimberly, I didn't know that was due today.
It's fine. It's fine. Fail. No, I am going to title this episode something like Are Expectations Ruining Your Life and You Don't Even Know It?
Yes, every day.
They get me every day. Yeah, me too.
And it's only the expectations I put on myself.
Yes. Okay, so we're just going to dive in, right?
Diving in. Right.
We don't have anything at the top of the episode. We're diving into expectations. So I went to dictionary.com and
The most valuable resource.
Yes, so valuable. And I got the definition of what an expectation is. And it's a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all I've got for you folks. This will be our shortest episode. Just kidding.
Those all the time. I also impose them on other people without even telling them. And then I get disappointed when they don't happen. And I have to remind myself, that was something you created in your head. Poor boat guy doesn't know what hit him sometimes.
Yes. Okay, so I broke it down into different categories of expectations, and you just mentioned two of them. There's the expectations of others, the expectations that we have of other people, and then the expectations that others have of us. And then there's the expectations that we have of ourselves. And then there's kind of the expectation of society.
We expect others to act.
How others expect us to act and how we expect others to act. Okay. So let's go back to the expectations of others. So there's the expectations that we have of other people. I wrote some examples and I know that you love my examples.
I do. Are they numbered?
They're not. They're just bullet points.
Okay, fine.
Sorry.
Okay.
So an example of an expectation that we have of other people is we expect our family to show up for the holidays. We expect our friends to say happy birthday on our birthday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So expectations that others might have of us, they might have those same expectations, but people might expect us to say please and thank you. Or excuse me. People expect us to wear headphones when we watch videos or listen to music or something in the airport or on a train.
Be. And you should be.
But that is a valid expectation.
The other ones I don't care. But that one, you are a menace if you don't do that shit. Anyway.
Yes, you're a horrible person.
Yeah, especially if it's on the airplane.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's...
Continue.
Yeah. Noise cancellation headphones, though. Those definitely help block out your expectations of others. Anyway.
Nice.
Um, okay, so you have expectations of yourself. I expect myself to be able to function as an adult. I expect that I will make enough money to put food on the table.
To speak in clear sentences?
Yes. And an expectation that others might have of me is that I would finish my sentence. And well,
I
I
am
can.
disappointed regularly. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'm trying.
I'm just like, "Oh, there was a thought. Where did it go? I don't
Yeah.
know." And then I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hey, are you gonna finish that?" And you're like, "I have no idea what I was saying."
That was 3 minutes ago. I don't know. I don't
It's
remember.
okay. I
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Yes. Okay. So expectations of society. I put those in two different categories. These are the expectations that society has of us. And it's not necessarily us as like individuals, but us as people that fit into a particular box. Gender, age, geoeconomic standing, those types of things. So like women should have children, men shouldn't wear dresses, men should be providers, men shouldn't cry. Teenagers will act immature. They're like trying to be adults, but they can't quite do it. The expectation that kids will be messy.
Okay.
And then we might expect out of society that we get treated fairly or that people will follow the rules or stuff like that.
I know the thought that keeps coming to mind is road rage
Okay.
and expecting people to do things while driving. You have no idea who that person is or what it is that they're going to do, but you expect that they're going to follow the rules and they might not. That's just an easy example that comes to mind, but this could be applied to any sort of conflict. It's like,
Yeah, there's
well,
so
I
many things.
expected an outcome that didn't happen, and you expected an outcome that didn't happen, and it's because we can't read each other's minds.
Okay, so today I want to talk about the expectations that we have in our heads of other people and how those expectations can set us up for disappointment. Okay. So if you think of life, what?
I'm just laughing because the way you looked at me, you're just like we're going to talk about this, and it was a very pointed look. Like we're going to talk about this so I can help you with not being disappointed in other people all the time.
This is just something that I've learned and am trying to get better at because there are so many times that I've had these expectations and I've had these things in my brain that I expected other people to do, but I never made those expectations clear. So, like, how would they know that they were supposed to do that? And was that a reasonable expectation? So, okay. So, if you think of our lives as like a movie script. Like most of us have kind of a script written out. Like we might have like an outline for our lives, right? Like go to college, get married, have kids. I want to travel and like we have bucket lists and we have like expectations of things that we want to do or see or achieve or whatever.
Mine is the homework that the dog ate. That's how well constructed my outline is. But anyways, I agree. I think most people are like that. I'm a mess, but most people are.
Well, but so we are writing our script for our lives from a ton of different sources. We take in a lot of information, right? So we have books, we have movies, we have like just culture in general, popular culture, social media, the internet, fucking Pinterest. Like, oh my God.
Friends and
Then
family.
we, yes.
Sorry.
So other people's examples. So like our parents' marriage, like that's a huge one. Some of your expectations of marriage might be based on the examples that you saw, whether it's a positive example or a negative example, it doesn't really matter, but that's what you were exposed to and that's what's normal to you, right? So, in the example of our parents' marriages, like there's the things that you liked. Oh, my parents stayed together for a long time or like the things that you didn't like they argued a lot or they didn't speak nicely to each other or they were boring or I've had friends their parents were high school sweethearts and so in her head, her script was that she would marry her high school sweetheart. Like that was that was what she thought was gonna happen. And she was so disappointed when that didn't happen. But that's a script that you're kind of reading from and thinking like, oh, this is normal. Another example is your family's traditions. Like your family had big parties, or your family had lots of friends, or your family always struggled financially, or your family like drove nice cars, or they had lots of debt, or there was lots of drama, or, everyone was always fighting, or your family never talked about feelings. Like, there's so many things that we get from our family. Like, have you heard of the Reddit poop knife?
Y- You told me about this. This is wild, y'all. Listen
Yeah.
up. You're about to have
I'm
your lives changed, and I don't know if it's for the better.
this family had a knife that they kept in their bathroom to cut up poop that was too long.
To be flushed.
Yeah. So, and that was totally normal to them. And this guy didn't realize this wasn't normal until he was like 20 and went to a friend's house and was like, "Where's your poop knife?" So that's a great example of
Mortifying.
yes,
That's crazy.
yes,
Brings up a lot of good points, and I'm thinking back to probably expectations that I've had on myself over the years. I definitely thought I was gonna marry my first boyfriend out of high school,
yeah,
and then I'm the one that ended it. But it's just like but I never thought in the beginning that that was a possibility. I was just like, "Oh, this is what you do." And I was like, "Wait a minute. I don't know. I have I have the choice to do whatever I want with this. I don't have to stick this out." So,
yeah,
anyways,
yep. But see, you were reading. I I don't know a better example other than like you were reading from this script. Like this was an expectation that you thought was something that you wanted or something you'd been told for a lot of years.
yeah,
So another example, um, or another place that we get influence for our script, or expectations is other people's influence or their expectations of you. My parents expected me to get good grades. Like there
same.
wasn't another option. A's and B's, maybe a C in math, but like you have to show that you're working really hard.
It's always math.
Yeah, fucking math.
I was
Um,
terrible. Was. I am terrible at math.
Um, maybe you were the golden child. Like, maybe you were the firstborn, and so everyone set a lot of expectations on you. And then maybe you were the younger one, and so everyone lets you get away with whatever because, like, you're the last one, and you're so cute, and you're adorable, or you're just a jerk.
And your parents have given up by the time you come around.
Exactly. They're
They're like,
tired.
I'm not fucking doing this shit anymore."
They're tired.
Yeah.
Or maybe your family thought you were a loser, and so like that's kind of, the expectation that was set on you. Like, "You're no good, Duck. You're just like your father."
You never be shit.
That's
Huh.
another Vine reference,
Yeah, I was gonna say
everyone.
we're not just assholes. I mean, we are, but not because of that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe everyone thought that you would be really, really successful. Like maybe you were super smart and everyone thought that you were going to be like this tech CEO and you're like, "No, I'm, perfectly content doing whatever." There's the expectation that you will have kids, that you will go to college, that you will help support your family or your parents financially, like when you're successful, or that you will maybe stay in a religion.
I definitely went to college because it was what was expected of me, not because it was what I really wanted to do. And as much as my mom says that she doesn't care if I don't have kids, she would be just like your parents if I had a child. She would be so excited.
Okay, so those were just some examples because I like to give examples.
I
Uh,
I like that you like to give examples because I'm dumb and I need a visual.
do you want me to act this out for you?
My God, I
I
would
have
say yes, but
I have my candles.
yay! For those of you just listening, she's holding the candles that me and another friend got her from Europe, and it's a sculpture of a male body and a female body naked.
And these are body expectations.
Yeah, that's like the Roman gods
Yes.
type bodies.
I'm just gonna put these back over there. Okay.
Yeah, I should have bought myself one so I could remind myself what I'd like to look like.
Yeah, amen, sister. So as we're kind of writing our script, all of those things that I mentioned before kind of play into how we picture our lives. a lot of us spend a lot of time picturing how we want things to go or planning or building expectations in our minds. I know I've spent plenty of time like picturing how relationships are going to go or romantic gestures or how encounters with people will go or events like parties or gifts we want to receive for our birthday or how we want people to treat us. But the question is, do the people in our lives know what we expect from them?
No.
Yeah.
No, and I think
Yes.
about it all the time. Something younger me would be proud of myself now for learning to be better at, but man, when I get upset about things, especially in relationships, I really check myself and be like, "Are you upset because you thought that they should do this thing or because they knew they needed to do this thing?" And it's usually the first part. I
Right.
usually have not expressed clearly or at all what it is that I think they should be doing. So,
Right. So I have an interesting example of this that happened the other day. Josh and I were driving home from somewhere, but we were driving separately because we had driven separately. And we both took different routes. And so I saw him like go through an intersection before I did. And so that meant that he would get home before I did because I was stopped at the light. And in my head, I started picturing what would happen when I pulled into the driveway. He will have opened the garage door for me and he'll be standing there with my car charger and will be ready to plug in my car. Then when I pulled into the driveway and the garage door was closed and he had gone in the house, I was like, "Ugh,"
this
like,
motherfucker.
yeah, like what the hell? I had to like check myself of like, okay, let's remember that is a kind of an unreasonable expectation. He doesn't know that that was something that I wanted or was even thinking about. How was he supposed to know? I can't now go into the house and like stomp around and be like, "Oh, you didn't open the garage door for me and you didn't, have my charger ready," because that's just like totally unrealistic, right?
I do this all the time with like our phone call dates with
You and
me
Boat
and
Guy?
yeah. There'll be nights where I'm like, I'm in a time crunch and I'm like, why hasn't he called yet? And then I get frustrated and I'm like, A, there's no rule on who calls who. And B, there's no rule on when we call each other. And me getting upset that he hasn't called by a certain time is strictly me. There
Yeah,
is no rule for when he should call me. And I have to be like, you're being ridiculous. And also, I have the ability to call him. It's like wild. I know. We know each other's schedules. And there are kind of days where I know that he will be the one to call because I'm waiting on him to do an activity or
right.
vice versa. But yeah, just like, well, why is it not at this time? Because there is no time, Meredith.
Right, because there was no discussion of like, "Hey, I'm on a time crunch. I need to talk to you between this time and this time." Like,
Right.
no,
Which
that
is
was never communicated.
100% my fault. And so if I'm upset, it needs to be at myself. Yes.
Yes. So the other question is, have you ever found yourself in the midst of someone else's expectation and realized that they didn't tell you the expectation and now they're mad at you because you did not meet that expectation?
I'm sure this has happened in previous relationships considering none of them worked out. But
But it doesn't necessarily have to be. It can be family, it can
no.
be friends, it can be someone at work. Well, I'll let you think on that and I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, tell me yours.
Okay. So I was on a trip with some friends and we went out to a bar and we were all just kind of like doing our things, meeting people, singing karaoke, like having a good time. And at one point this friend comes up and says, I'm leaving. I'm going to go back to our room." And I said, "Okay, totally understand." And then the next day she was mad at me and I was kind of like, "Well, you said that you wanted to leave. I acknowledged that you wanted to leave. I respected that you are an adult and that you wanted to leave, right?" Well, I finally got it out of her that I didn't meet an expectation that she had. And that expectation was that I would text her and check on her after she left the bar. And I was like, "You didn't ask me to check on you. You didn't like, you could have texted me to say, hey, I'm home safe." But I was caught up in this mist of this expectation that I didn't know that I was supposed to
Ooh,
fulfill.
this brings up good points. I'm thinking all over the place. It's a good example. People set this expectation and then they think, well, you're not a good friend because you didn't do A, B, and C. And that's not a fair assessment if you didn't let this person know that you wanted them to do A, B, and C. I mean, I think there are some basic like morality points for being friends and being a good person, but there's no rules for what makes a good friend.
Right.
And those are like, if those are expectations that you have with your friends, those are things that you need to communicate with said friends. And same in relationships. And as these words are coming out of my mouth, I am not st- blind to the fact that I do it too.
We all do it.
I know. And I'm sorry for anyone that I've done it to, including past relationships. I'm sure I've been uphill, but this is going to make me think about it more. But it happens all the time, all the fucking time.
All the time. Like, we're doing it to ourselves, we're doing it to other people, they're doing it to us, and it just if you have a lot of drama, maybe that's because of these expectations.
That is a good example, though. I know there were times in past relationships where I would get upset when my significant other didn't want to leave an event at the same time that I did,
Mhm.
and that's not their fault.
Right. There's so many times where there's expectations set and we don't know them.
Yeah, I could have saved myself some drama. And I'm not
Yeah.
just talking about like relationships, like family too, for sure.
Yeah. There's so many things that it's like we expect from people that we don't realize. I'm grateful that I realized this, and I don't remember when it was, but I know that it was sometime in the last, like, 10 years-ish that I realized, like, "Oh my god, expectations are these, like, horrible things that, like, can ruin your life." Because people aren't playing to the script, and then you're mad at them, you're constantly disappointed, you're frustrated, and when you express your expectations then, and then they don't meet them, you have to kind of go back and be like, "Well, was that a realistic expectation?"
Yeah.
This awareness of I'm building this up in my head, and the awareness of like, is this something that this person is capable of, or is this something that this person would actually want to do? And is this like a realistic thing to ask of someone? Like, you have to like meet people where they're at. Like,
I know. I
you
feel like most of the time, well, that's probably 50-50. I'm sure there are times where it is realistic to ask things of someone and they're just not doing it.
yeah, like
Um,
if you ask your significant other to like stop picking his nose in public, like, okay, that's a realistic
Wild
expectation.
example, but yeah,
I
that
don't
is a
know, it's the best one I could come up
no,
with on the fly.
I love that that's the first thing that you came up with.
But, like,
Yes.
that's not a big ask. That's just being
No.
like, "Okay, please don't," like, if I was like, "Hey, could you not breathe when we're in public?" Like, okay, that's a little unrealistic.
I mean, what? It can be less basic than that. Like, I expect that you're going to help me with A, B, and C. But again, like you have to communicate those things and then you get to be upset when it isn't done and it has been communicated.
Right.
Like, it's okay to be upset when expectations aren't met when you did make them clear.
Right, and this is something that Josh always says with, like, parenting, but I think this applies to a lot of things in life, and it's what does done look like? To them, doing the dishes might be, "Oh, I put everything in the dishwasher, and everything that needs to be washed by hand is in the sink."
Mm,
And some like, the dish fairies will come and wash it. Well, no, explaining to them, we wash all of that stuff by hand, we put it here to dry, and then we wipe it down and put it away, and we start the dishwasher. Making those expectations clear is really helpful. Like,
yeah.
so if you're gonna ask your partner, "Hey, will you do the dishes?" You guys can have a conversation on what done looks like, because done to your partner and done to you may not be the same.
Yes, because like loading the dishwasher is one thing, and then unloading the dishwasher is an entirely other thing. And
Right.
this is why good communication matters.
Yes. I wrote a list of how to kind of manage any kind of expectation, number one was acknowledging them and then asking yourself if this expectation is something that you actually want to happen. And like, this goes back to the example with the garage.
Yeah, you thought it would be a nice thing, but it doesn't mean that Josh is a bad person because he didn't do it. It
Right.
like maybe he had something he had to take care of as soon as he went inside, or maybe his mind was completely on something else. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't mean
doesn't.
he doesn't care about you because he wasn't there. And I do think that is a loop that we can put ourselves in. Is like, oh, they didn't do this thing for me. They fucking hate me.
Yes,
And yeah,
100%. And then you're mad at them. And then they're like, wait, what did I do? And you're like, well, you didn't do the thing that I was daydreaming about. And they're like, what?
if if Bo Guy listens to this episode, I guarantee he's going to come up with some examples. And I know which examples he's going to come up with. And I just want to say sorry. And I do know that I can be fucking crazy sometimes. But I have the weird expectation in my head and that it doesn't happen and you don't know why I'm mad.
Exactly.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. The other thing is this something that I want to discuss with whomever is involved? Like, do I actually want
Probably.
this? Do I
Well,
actually want this thing to happen? And it's like, okay, yes, no. And then is this a realistic expectation to ask for? And then if you decide to discuss it, leaving room for people to be themselves. Like, say you're dating someone and they're like, I don't want to talk on the phone. And you're like, but I want you to call me. I want you to call me every day at 4. And they're like, I don't talk on the phone. Like, is that a realistic expectation to ask of them? And then what will happen if this expectation is continually not met? Like, is
and
this
you
a
have
deal breaker?
I was going to say, and then it doesn't mean that you having that expectation is incorrect or wrong, but that means you have to reevaluate if this person is for you because it just might not be an expectation that they can meet, not because they don't care about you, but that's just not something that they want to do. I'm a horrible texter. Anybody listening to this that knows me is going to be like, yeah, bitch, you are. But I make that expectation clear from the beginning. I have a lot of stuff going on. I will read it. If it requires an immediate response, I will do that. But otherwise, 2 to 5 business days. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is.
But if someone came to you that like was your friend or you were dating or whatever, like if I came to you and said, hey, Meredith, I need you to respond to my text messages within, you know, 4 hours of me sending them, like, is that a realistic expectation for me to put on you?
No. I do I mean, that specific example I think is a little too much and I would reevaluate you as a person because that just seems a little crazy.
Yeah.
However, I am a bad texter and we've had conversations about the extended amount of time I go without replying to a message. I remember us having a conversation about the texting and me being like, I'm going to make a better effort with our conversations because I know that we do a lot of things together that do require immediate attention. And so, because of that, I do respond to you quicker than I respond to just about anyone else. And same with Boat Guy, because when you don't live in the same fucking
Yeah.
state, you have to make an effort or it doesn't work. And to be fair, he doesn't love texting either, and we will occasionally, but that's why we have a daily phone call. Like we save up all the things that we want to say or show each other. Sometimes I'm a little bit sometimes I'll send it immediately because we'll leave brain. But but we'll save it for the end of the day and we'll show it to each other then. And it doesn't mean like I don't know, occasionally someone will be like, "Oh, have you talked to a boat guy today?" And I'll be like, "Nope." And it's like, "Oh, that's weird." It's like, "No, it's not. That's totally normal." And we're
And
fine.
that's within the expectations of your guys' relationship. Like,
Yes.
you guys have set this expectation and this is what's normal
Yes.
for
If we
you.
didn't go a few days or if we went a few days without talking, then I'd be like, something's probably up. But then I would like check in first before being like, he fucking hates me or whatever.
Let's be real.
He hates me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Always catastrophizing.
He's dead.
I did get mad at him the other night. That's why I brought up the phone example. But it's like, is a night that he normally does an event and I know that he's going to call me later, but it was like late. And at first I was mad. I was like, this is a long time. And then I was like, maybe I should stop worrying that he's like out later and be a little more worried that he's okay. Cause like it is longer than normal. It's like, geez. And then cause he didn't answer a text message. And so I waited like an hour. It was like midnight. And I was like, I gotta go to bed. And so I texted again. And then he called me immediately. And I was like, uh, a little frustrated. And he was like, are you okay? And I was like, are you okay? I'm just glad you're fine. He was like, I'm so sorry. I got distracted. My phone was in the other room. I was talking to my dad about something. Like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I actually got home hours ago. I just got distracted with house stuff. And I was like, again, expectation that I had versus there is no rule. But then I was just like, yep, he's dead.
This is it. It was nice while it lasted.
I know. Ugh. Anyways.
Yeah.
Just a little
so that
peek into what it's like to date me. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I have. I just want people to be aware of expectations and
I think
it.
this was a good reminder for me as well.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mama Kimberly, for always coming in with the hot advice while
You're
I
welcome.
just talk about stupid things like who started New Year's resolutions.
I actually really liked that.
Thank you.
So whatever.
Really
I like
hard.
a little history lesson. So I have a question for our listeners. If you want to text us, you can open the show notes and there's a little link to a little texty text. It says, send us a text. And then it will open up your text app.
And it will let you text us.
Yeah, text.
And then we're going to read it at the next episode in a segment we call Texts with Friends. How many more times can we say text?
I think it was text from our friends.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because we can't text with them.
Well, depends on who it is.
Valid point. So tell us a time that you've either been a victim of your own expectations or you've been a victim of someone else's expectations. And I want to know how it worked out.
Yeah. Good, bad, in between.
Yeah.
Breakup.
Murder.
Murder. Oh, that's going to be a thing now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening. I hope this episode was informative and I hope that you kept your expectations of this episode and of this podcast in general very low.
Low to the ground.
Yeah. The other thing that I want to mention is that you can follow us on social media at...
Yeah, we have those.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mildly Thriving Pod on Instagram.
I do pay attention to the Instagram pretty regularly, so please.
You do.
I will keep up on that. If you get a response, there's a good chance it's from me.
Yeah. So that's all I have for you. And I hope that this was a good reminder that mildly thriving is
thriving enough. We have got to work on that. But your dance moves are impeccable.
Thank you. I think people keeping their expectations low is key here. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, till next time.
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
Okay, bye.